Hi guys, welcome back. Last time I showed you how to make this toy box. It opens and closes. I've painted it since the last video. I've Mod Podged a picture that I had out of a magazine, or actually I think it was out of a storybook, on the front of it just so I could have some character going on. But it's very, very basic, not a lot to it. So we're going to take a pattern very similar to this one, not much different, and we're going to make a fancier little toy box. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is go on my website and download the template so you can have all of the measurements and everything. Once you have the measurements, then you'll want to go ahead and cut all your pieces out. The bottom, we use the bandsaw to do it with. You can use a coping saw if you like, or if you don't have the ability to cut this out, you can always use chipboard on the front as long as you're painting it, and then just cut it out with like an X-Acto knife. Okay, or you could use mat board. Mat board will do the same thing, or you could double up on some paperboard and do that with the front. All right, after that, then you have your top and your bottom. The difference between the top and the bottom are that one is not beveled on the back, that's the bottom, and then the other one is. We've done plenty of tutorials, and you can look at the other one on how to bevel it using sandpaper. But basically, you get like that little angle at the top and little angle at the bottom. Once you have them all done, now I've used some masking tape and I've lined it up ahead of time just so it's easier to hold it together until the glue dries. You're going to go ahead and take your sides and you're going to apply some glue. Now, if it's an end grain, you're going to want to double up on the glue by putting a little bit of glue on there, just a very little bit, rubbing it in to get it down into those cracks. Because what happens is it absorbs into there. Okay, so just kind of do that, rub it in there on all of them. It really absorbs into the end grain, so you want to make sure that you get that end grain pretty coated. Okay, now that fast, there's no glue there, it's completely done. So that means that your glue that you put on there before would have soaked in it and you wouldn't have been able to do it. So now you want to apply some more, and then you want to put it on the side just like this. Okay, so you want to make sure you stand it on the side and make sure it's square. If you're using a paint stick like we did, you're going to want to put the ink on the inside because it's a little bit difficult to cover up at times. All right, again, you want to do this. Now the glue that we put on there in the beginning is already dry, so that's not there anymore. Attach the other side, stand it up on its side to make sure that it's squared. All right, and at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to apply some glue to each end, and then you're going to fold it in like that. Make sure it's square completely around. Re-square your ends because they will move. Tape it. Make sure it's all nice and tight, and make sure all sides are square by pushing down on it as you're doing it. That's going to push it even with the flat surface that you're doing it on. Okay, now you want to let this dry, and then you want to go to the bottom. This is going to be the bottom base, and you're going to want to glue it together. Again, get some masking tape. Alright, now I've put a small piece of masking tape along the back of this board, and again, you want to pre-treat your edges. It just takes a second for that to absorb in there. And you're doing this because, again, it's an end grain and it will absorb that glue, and then your glue will not stick to your project. So take the small pieces that you have and you're going to put it on there. Wipe off the excess and then pull your tape up to hold it in place. Okay, you're going to do the same thing to the other side and make sure that it's square. Now, you're going to apply some glue to your front decorative piece. Now, this is the very bottom parts that go to the toy box. This is just the fancy trim. All right, and then you're going to pull that over, make sure it's even, square it up, remove any excess glue that you need to, and you can use a square to make sure it's square, or you can kind of just put it on your base and then square it up that way. Alright, so now you want to apply some glue right along the top of here. Try to keep it away from the front if you can. And then once you have that like that, then the one with the flat edge on the back and the 3 sides beveled is what you're using for the bottom. Okay, so you want to go ahead and attach that on there.
Flat edge goes to the back.
Now, you can turn it over at this point if you like and put a little dab of glue in each corner just to kind of help secure it. But it's not necessary. But it will help hold it a little bit better. Especially if you intend on having a small child play with this. Alright, so now you're going to let that dry. Once the base is completely dry, you want to sand the entire thing before you do the rest of it. So we're going to let this dry and we'll be back.
Right now we're going to mark in 1/4 inch from the board that's going down each side and mark it for your hinge. And then we're going to mortise that hinge out so it sets in there. Now they're 1/4 inch hinges, so it should go in between the pencil marks.
You can order the hinges on Amazon if you don't have them. They have lots of them, and they are under miniature dollhouse hinges or miniature jewelry hinges is how you can find them.
Right now, just be careful when you do it that you don't cut yourself. But put the knife on your marks. Give it a few light taps. If you hit close to the point where the blade comes out, you won't break your blade. Now, when you're tapping it, if you make several taps going up and down it, it'll chip out. As long as you hit it the same amount of pressure, approximately every time, they should chip out of there fairly easy. Just take your knife right where the chips start, and be careful. Alright, what we did here was we mortised out the spot where the hinges are going to go. Ordinarily, you would mortise out this and the lid, but we're not concerned about this opening up all the way and dropping back to the other side like this. This is fine. enough because it's going to overlap the back a little bit. So we just made a little deeper, the same size as the barrel of the hinge, and it'll fit down in there like that. And you can put the nails down through it, or you can put the epoxy on there and it'll glue. Once it's on there, it'll open up like this. So that's how that goes.
Okay, so we're going to show you how to do some hinges with some epoxy. Basically, you're just going to put a tiny amount in each.
When you squeeze it, it comes out of both sides at the same time, so you just want to...
You don't want to mix any more than you're going to use because this stuff dries super fast and then you're not going to actually be able to use it for anything else. So don't over squeeze it.
Make sure you got it mixed very thoroughly. And try to do it on something dark because you can't see it on this light thing. And I'm just using a piece of wire to get it going. And we're going to take it, and right now we're just going to apply it to this that I mortised out. And when you put the hinges in, make sure that the barrel is facing up.
And when he says barrel, that's the part that is in the middle. Right here, this little line that you see in the middle, that's the barrel. That should be facing up, not down like that. It needs to be up. Okay, and do not put an excessive amount in there because what happens is when you use the epoxy, if it gets into that barrel, your hinge is not going to open. It's going to stay in the position that you put it on. So you only want to put enough to where it gets into where the two holes are. And you can obviously use the nails that come with it, but they're very difficult to get in, and this just seems to be easier and it's not seen, so that's what we do.
And what I'm doing, I'm taking a little bit off because you just don't want to put too much in there. Like Lori says, you'll have a problem. Now the barrel of the hinge, because we're not opening overly opening the hinge, we're going to put the barrel of the hinge right even with the back, and we use this paint stick, and the hinge is almost exact with the paint stick.
That's why we decided to go with the thicker wood for the frame, because 1/8 inch does not allow you to do this with the hinges. So this is a large paint stick. You can get them at your local hardware store or paint store. And the difference is the paint stick is a lot bigger than the average. This is a small paint stick. It's about 1/8 inch thick. This is a large paint stick. When I hold them side by side, they're almost double. Now you can obviously take basswood and you can cut double and then glue it together if you're using 1/8 inch, or you can just get the paint stick, which is approximately 1/4 inch.
We'll let this dry, and later on we may come back and just put a nail in each one of them or both of them in there, but I don't particularly like putting the nails in there because as thin as the wood is, you may split it. Alright, while this is drying, we're just going to put some glue on the bottom of here and glue it to the base. And you might want to try to put the glue towards the inside so it don't run out all over the surface of it.
Be sure not to hit your hinges while you're doing this.
You want to keep the back even and the sides approximately as even as you can get it so it looks even. Just about have it. Hang it over the edge of the table. Don't hit your hinges, and you can make sure that that back is even. And that should dry in about 5 minutes or so.
Okay, so what we've done is we took masking tape, and we went ahead and applied it over top of the hinge there so that we can attach the lid. We've mixed up some more epoxy, and it's starting to get thick, so we're going to go ahead and put this together.
And we put the tape over there so the epoxy don't get on the other side of the hinge and glue the hinge shut. And once again, you only need enough to get it on the surface. And that'll hold it. Then we'll just set this in place. Make it even all the way around.
Okay, so that's what the back should look like. And that's what the front should look like. Now you want to put a piece of masking tape all the way around it to hold it until the hinges dry. Okay, so we've put the masking tape on it to hold the lid down until it dries. When it dries, it should open and close with no problem.
And then you can take the tape off of your hinge.
Okay guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials.com. Also, check us out on Facebook, Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials, and on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel because we post videos all the time. And leave a comment, question, or suggestion because we love hearing from you. And if you like Pinterest, we have tons of pins on there as well under Laurie Holden Heisler. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.